we can hopefully put this story to bed now. Unless I guess next time we'll talk about it is maybe we'll review it. Who knows? This is going to be a goddamn doozy to review no matter what.
But we're reviewing this movie. I'm just saying that right now. This is
kind of have to.
Yeah, out of respect. No, I don't know.
But so you remember it was about a year ago. I think October 21st. It was almost a year ago that the internet exploded, and man, it was like, I mean, it didn't take long for things to get hostile and controversial and ugly. But I remember those first couple days reading it, just being sad by the story of Rust and the accidental onset shooting at the hands of Alec Baldwin that killed Halyna Hutchins, the cinematographer, on this relatively low budget Western drama called Rust. And we don't really need to rehash this. I think everybody knows sort of the circumstances, at least tangentially. It's been quiet because it's still, I understand it too. It's still under investigation by the
criminal investigation still ongoing.
The Santa Fe Police Department, the investigators, I think the FBI has been brought in on some elements of this too. So no, like the criminal investigation of this thing is still ongoing, but there has been a settlement, and I will lead you into Dom right now to give you the inside scoop on that.
Yeah. So civil cases, criminal cases. Civil is more like, oh, my coffee's too hot and I spilled it all over me, which is a classic case of, the story being twisted another way for that poor woman. But anyway, civil case has been settled out of court with Alec Baldwin. Criminal investigation still underway. And so we'll see something about that. And in my opinion, that is good because someone freaking died. Someone did not do their job and someone died because of it. That is criminal negligence, or at least, it's seeming like criminal negligence. We'll see what comes out of it. It may be criminal negligence. But that has been settled. The civil case has been settled out of court. And now the widower, Matthew Hutchins of Halyna Hutchins, is now the executive producer of this film, taking the reins of this movie, which is, I don't know emotionally how you do that. Your wife, this whole product that you are taking the reins of, maybe sharing executive producer, but still, in some way, taking the reins of, it claimed your wife's life. So that, he took that on, and good luck to him emotionally. But that's and they are finishing the movie. They are actually going through with the movie because when this first came out, I was like, we're never seeing the light of day on this because it's
we all thought that.
Yeah, straight up dead. And it's like, Jesus Christ, I feel dirty watching this. I think back to Deadpool 2 when the stunt woman on the bike scene, she died as a result of this movie. And I was like, man, that's going to be awkward to watch this movie. Thinking about that now, and watching it, still a great time, but I still wound up watching it, and when the bike scene was like, oh, there it is, someone died because of this freaking scene right here. At least it wasn't Triple X, but in any case, the Triple X sequel. But in any case, no. All levity aside, yeah, dude, it's going to be an interesting movie to review once we all watch it. Because I'm saying we are definitely all in on reviewing this movie just because it dominated the last fiscal quarter of 2021, because it was the story. And how could it not be? Because it brought all kinds of things into place: workplace negligence, the unions, scabbing,
spider guns.
Firearms. It's like, should all weapons be replaced by
don't
CGI
forget that
now?
Not to interrupt you, don't forget the landscape at the time with the IATSE strike.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. That's what it was pulled into as well. That was the story, and should have been the story, and was the story for the,
because it was like 2 weeks before we were talking about that. We made that a significant part of the show, deservedly, the IATSE strike, and then this happened, and my first reaction was like, beyond my first reaction was holy shit, and like, God, I can't imagine Hutchins' family. My second or third reaction was like, this is what IATSE was talking about. This is why they threatened the strike.
Yeah. So, this is About half settled, at least civilly. We'll see if Santa Fe PD says anything about that. Knowing how Hollywood is, knowing how powerful people are in charge, it'll probably get, punted down to some poor bastard who, if they are responsible, then they're responsible. But, again, maybe the trails will be covered. Maybe there's no way to go after the real people in charge. It's hard to say. Maybe it's a story 5 years from now for a YouTuber to go over and really investigate true crime. Who knows?
Yeah,
but
that one guy.
in that case,
really happened.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those really sad stories. At the end of the day, Mrs. Hutchins is no longer with us. A Ukrainian descendant, by the way. That that family cannot be having a great time this year.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, exactly. Crazy life that woman led. I would love to see a book come out on her, because apparently she was raised in like the Arctic Circle on a Soviet base watching like nuclear submarine. No, I'm serious. CBS was reporting that. I'm like, Jesus, this woman's life is crazy interesting. And unfortunately, kind of went out in a crazy way as well. So Jesus Christ. But in any case, all that aside, or at least for now, was interesting to also look at the state of what that whole kind of movement, or rather push for like stricter gun tightening in the movie industry, particularly the world for armorers. The Hollywood Reporter released a article back in June 30th, pretty damn good one, like exploring like, okay, it's been 6 months or 8 months since this happened. A critical moment for all these people. That's a landmark. No armorer going into this business from now on will not reference this incident. It's going to be on every safety video, every class, every, not just even this world, but also OSHA, firearms training. They're all going to be talking about this Alec Baldwin Rust shooting incident. And, as the world turns, airsoft guns, that's kind of the happy medium. It's like, okay, is this going to be like just blocks of wood now, and then CGI will take over from there? Kind of halfway. Airsoft guns have taken the mantle for a lot of the bigger studios, the budgets that can afford too much to lose, But the Hollywood Reporter also interestingly found out that a pattern that, the bigger studios are doing this, they're taking more precautions, but the smaller productions, the ones where it's more likely for things to go wrong, a little more scabbing, not as much money in the coffers to afford those armors, they are not doing this. They're doing it the old way. Now, having been said all that, I think it's safe to say, had protocol been followed, we said this back then too, even the first time we talked about this, had protocol been followed, it would have been fine, right? It would have been safe, because the protocols are written in such a way where this is unavoidable. You have to check. You have to look in the chamber. You have to say, this is I am doing this, I'm shooting this, blah, blah, blah. All the checks are there, like any accident involving firearms, right? It's like, oh, how did this baby get a hold on this firearm that killed their parent? The gun was just there and fully loaded on the nightstand, as opposed to in its proper place. That's just how these things happen. And I think the debate is kind of settled where oh, no more guns on any sets whatsoever. It all has to be CGI, just blocks of wood or just empty. It's like, I think we kind of overcorrected there, and I think we finally settled it. Okay, you know what? Sure, that's fine. But now the armorers, because one dude didn't do his job, or more importantly, because a certain group of producers decided to not go the proper route, go the proper union route, go the proper protocol route, that this, now all the armorers who did do their job properly are now paying the price. No one wants to go with them anymore. No one wants to, pay for the armors. Oh, let's just do airsoft. And now the seemingly thing where now poor Marvel, more pressure on those CGI artists to do more work. Dude, it's a ripple effect, man.
Yeah, because the studios that are going to be able to afford that are going to just cut that corner to begin with.
Yeah, funny enough,
Well, is it The Rock came out with his whole production studio? He's like, yeah, we're not using like any kind of firearm on set anymore. So like,
it's too risky. It's too risky. I mean, when you have like Dom said it just a couple of minutes ago, when you have too much to lose, when you have too much to lose,
That's what
and
the
you
article
have
said. Yeah.
and you have money to negate. I mean, like, what's the L word that every business hates? Liability. You know, it's a liability. I mean, the insurance costs are already astronomical. You ask any independent filmmaker what one of the most expensive damn things is on any movie set, and it's not. It's half the time. It's not the camera and it's not the lighting equipment. It's insurance.
Yeah.
It's actor and on set insurance. You know, and the studio's like, it's, you know, like you said, it's going to put pressure on the poor Marvel, CGI artists who already worked to death to begin with. But it also, too, like, there's too much to lose. They have the means to do that and to demand that versus these other smaller projects. What is this, a $7.5 million movie?
Yeah, and to put some kind of legalese behind the whole petering out of the, you know, push to like ban all guns. There were two separate bills in the California legislature pushed by two separate unions, and that kind of fizzled out. They was like, hey, can we come together? It was like, one was more firearms laser focused, one was more like just general set safety, which is, I'm sure, a good thing, but you know, I haven't looked into the actual legalese of it all. But I think that's kind of settled, and now it's just the repercussions of the pin in this story really is someone didn't do their job on two levels. The actual armorers or people who were assigned the role of armor didn't do their job, and also the producers cut costs. They didn't go the union route. They didn't follow protocol, and this is what you get. You get what you pay for, and now it's affected the whole industry. Hundreds, thousands of people, ripple effect, gets screwed over because of these dumbasses, and most importantly, it cost someone's life.
It's hard to follow up that, man, because like I said, a lot of my ideas were what you said too. And I went back to reading this article, reading the news today. You actually saw it before I did. Reading the news today, I went back to, I remember it was the very first thing, Dom, you said when this whole story broke, the very first time we addressed the Rust shooting incident. I remember what you said, and I delegated a lot to you during that discussion too. I kind of just talked about the overarching human element and stuff. I left the background and the technicalities to you because you can summarize that better than I can. I remember what you said. You said protocols are only effective when you follow them.
That line is taken from Zero Dark 30, where that plays out exactly like that. Oh, you don't want to scan this car for bombs? Boom, there it goes. Right there. The lesson is right there. And
I'm paraphrasing it, but you said protocols are only effective if they're followed. If people,
and I'm sure maybe they took it from somewhere else too. But that is protocol. Oh, protocol only works when you do it every time. That I think that's
what it was.
Protocol only works when you do it every time, and there you are.
That's why it's protocol.
Exactly.
And I find it interesting though. You brought it up that Matthew Hutchins is going to executive produce this thing.
I can't imagine.
Which I can't imagine how hard it is. I think there's definitely an element. And this is where, like, you know, the carefully manicured PR approved Instagram post from Alec Baldwin, you take that what you will. but in the line he uses in there where he says, throughout this difficult process, everyone has maintained the specific desire to do what is best for Halyna's son and to honor her work and her craft. I think Matthew Hutchins putting his name on executive producer, whatever his role is going to be, I think that shows you at least, and it might, like, it's not a contentious thing. It's not like an FU settlement. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Where there's, I don't think they're going to go get beers after the movie shot and everything's all done. But I think that I don't think there's any true hatred on Hutchins' family towards Alec Baldwin and the producers of this movie and Joel Souza, the director. That was what clued me in. It was like, they must have really ironed this out and been like, we want to honor Halyna. What can we do?
And on top of that, it's just good to know. It's like, all right, we moved on. Cool. We're going to finish this movie, get our money back. No, it's not feeling like that because the widower is involved. Yeah.
No, and it kind of lessens the idea. Like the whole fact that this thing is going to resume shooting in January could be a hot button controversial thing in and of itself. But I think Matthew Hutchins signing on to being an executive producer and presumably going to be involved with the production. I absolutely think that doesn't even, I don't think, equate to PR there. I think that's honestly an endorsement there.
We'll see. You know, day one, he might arrive on set, turn around and be like, I can't do this, and then drops out. all power to him, man. I can't imagine.
Who knows? You would. I feel like almost any decision he could make in the realm of this is like justified. You know what I mean? Like it's so complicated and it's so hard, and it's like I can't imagine day one going back to shooting that thing after the holidays and everything like that, which is going to be a miserable time for that family.
Yeah.
Like, you know, especially like Dom brought up a good point too. They're Ukrainian, so like that's just been a huge. And think about the Ukrainian war, the Ukrainian-Russian conflict, whatever you're calling it. That happened, what, like 4 or 5 months? That started, what, 5 months after Halyna was killed?
Yeah.
I can't imagine that family. Joe, final word on the Rust settlement.
Look, man, if you guys are going to resume filming, because, I mean, I'm not going to add on to what you guys said. You're basically hitting all the notes I want to talk about. Look, if you're going to resume filming, make sure everything on set is fine. Because, I mean, this wasn't the only incident on set. We had the spider bite. We had other things that were happening on set. There was, like, I think there was, what, it was like a sanitary thing also happening on the set as well. Like,
so, also, to add on to the spider bite thing, an almost fatal spider bite. Someone went to the hospital.
Yeah, that dude almost lost his arm. Spider. His whole ass arm.
Yeah,
we're not just, you know, saying a spider.
Go back and read that, man. That was terrifying. Like I saw that and like it was like, holy crap. Sorry to cut you off there, Joe.
No, you're good. I'm fighting Barty Baby and Barty Bart in the chat right now.
Oh, okay.
I got distracted by that. I probably shouldn't have acknowledged him. Anyways, yeah, man. I mean, it's just like, you know, it's whatever. It's, you know, it's not whatever. Actually, sorry. What I meant to say was, you know, it's something they need to actually keep up with. It's something they need to be aware of when they start resuming. Because, dude, if another incident like this happens on set, whether it be a death or an injury at this point, I don't think this movie is going to even bother coming out at that point then. I mean, I think it's, hey, if you guys want to still resume filming with it, and if, like, the husband's on board as an executive producer and whatnot, all right, go ahead. But don't let anything else happen, because then it's going to show to me that you didn't learn from your mistakes. But I know we will talk about the movie, because it is a Sleepless Rushmore, like, you know, news piece that we always talked about, like, week after week. So we'll just have to wait and see till then.
Indeed, yeah, we'll talk Rust whenever it does come out. I don't know. I don't know when it's projected. Like I said, they're starting to resume it, and they're going to start resuming filming in January. So we shall see on that note.